Okay, so we'll kick it off and welcome and thank you all for attending this regional presentation. For those that haven't been to a regional presentation in the past, normally we would do these in person. We'd all gather together, so yes, you can chat to each other and see each other and all those sorts of things. Obviously, we're not allowed to do that this year, nor last year, unfortunately. Excuse my cat. Yeah, so we're doing these presentations. The whole idea of the presentations is to get groups of people together. We would normally hand out a certificate to you, but this year we'll be sending out the certificates after the actual awards event. And when we'll call you as if it were a normal meeting, and if you choose to, and you're not required to, but if you choose to, you can spend a couple of minutes just talking about your project. And the whole idea of that is so other people, even though you're all on the peninsula, you're not all necessarily living in each other's pockets and you don't necessarily know about each other's projects. So it'll give you the opportunity to talk about your project, but also give others a chance to find out about your project. And we quite often, well, we think some of the best projects are projects that are stolen. You don't need to come to reinvent the wheel to have a good project. And if you can get a good idea from someone else, why not take it? For those of you who are turning up today and expecting to see Emma White, unfortunately you're stuck with me instead. Emma's our events manager who has done all of the preliminary work in getting this event up, getting the awards and the event up and running to date. Emma's currently looking after a beautiful 6-week-old baby boy. So she's taken maternity leave, which I think is a bit rough, but anyhow, we'll run with the times, and that's what's allowed these days. In more recent times, since Emma has been on maternity leave, Sam is there on the screen. Sam's been doing the lion's share of keeping the awards routine running. So thank you, Sam, for that. Now, we also have here today Sabina, our hardworking CEO, and Sabina's going to say a few words.
Thank you very much, Gary. Yes, I am going to say a few words, just a few words, because I always love regional presentations and I'm very excited to hear about the projects. Now, I do apologise in advance. I may have to leave early due to caregiving duties, but I'm certainly going to listen to all the projects. Now, here I am, my cup of tea. Sadly, can't be with you all because I do love Mornington regional presentations, especially the scones. But I do have something very exciting here as well. Now, I have not opened it because I haven't been brave enough to, but I got this big box, very special box from Government House in Yalumba in the ACT. Now, this contains the Hastings Trophy for winning National Sustainable Cities, Communities, Tidy Towns Award. So I am very excited to receive this. And I'm very excited because I want to be down there in Hastings handing this over. So it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. The moment we're allowed to, we'll have it down there. So this trophy, I don't know if people saw it in the presentations, and I should have snagged a little photo to show it to you, but it's magnificent. It comes from our previous Tidy Town winner, which was Beechworth. Now, this means Victoria was 2 in a row, and I think I worked out Victoria has only won the national awards 4 times in 30 years. So it's a really big, fantastic outcome for Hastings. So very excited, and the moment I can, this box will be there. So yes, no, but without further ado, I want to hear from you guys, not listen to myself. Thank you very much, and very looking forward to hearing about everyone's project.
Bad news for you, Sabina. You're going to hear from me first. I mentioned Sam, another one of our staff here earlier. Sam also looks after a project called Leon, which is Litter Enforcement Officers Network. The aim of that project is to coordinate litter enforcement officers from all municipalities across the state. One, hopefully so they can be more effective in enforcement and hopefully reduction in illegal dumping. It's educational, so it helps the litter officers know exactly what the current acts are saying and what they can and can't do, and to share ideas as to how they go about it. So that's a project that Sam's effectively created from scratch and is running very successfully. We've also got Anton. If Anton, no, I don't think Anton's got in here yet. No, he had another meeting on, didn't he? Anton looks after our volunteer programs, so Stationeers and Adopt a Roadside. I also noticed there's a couple of our directors lurking in the background there. Kirsty Richards and Enzo Brusella. So welcome, people. The way we're going to run today is that, yep, I'll call out a project name and the category, and yep, as I said, we'll allow you roughly 2 minutes to talk about your project. Please try and stick to your 2 minutes. With the number of projects we've got, it's going to be a very long project if everyone decides they want to talk for 6 or 10 minutes. So if you can stick to roughly your 2 minutes, we're not going to strictly police it, but if you start dragging on, I'll start getting annoyed and potentially waving or talking over you or whatever the case, but we'll let you know that you're getting towards the time that you should be winding up. Obviously, when I call your project name and you're to speak about it, you'll need to unmute yourself. Now, there should be a red button on the bottom left-hand side of the screen that you're looking at, which is how you unmute yourself. And then once you've finished, go back and mute yourself again, please. Yeah. Just looking down to see if there's anything else I should have mentioned at the time. In amongst the chat, Sam will be putting up an address in relation to a survey. If possible, we'd like you all at some stage to go to, not necessarily during the presentation, but to go to the survey and answer. I think there's only 6 questions. Should only take you 5 minutes. Most of them are yes or no answers. And it's really about us getting better information about how you saw the presentation. So give us a better chance to do things better in the future. So I'll remind you about that at the end as well. As I mentioned earlier, we will be sending out certificates after the actual awards event. For those that don't know, and I'll try and stick to my 2 minutes, just a bit of background about Keep Victoria Beautiful and how we started and what we're about. So Keep Victoria Beautiful is now well over 50 years old. It was originally started as an anti-litter campaign, and the driving force behind that was a lady by the name of Dame Phyllis Frost. Some of you may have heard about her, but Dame Phyllis was probably an overachiever and a bit at advances to where she was at the particular point in time. She was an advocate for the environment, for litter and improvement in women's prisons in her day. She was one of those ladies that had the ability and drive to talk, or firstly find and then talk to the people she needed to speak to make change. And in the case of Keep Victoria Beautiful, she saw an issue with litter. She was able to get to see and talk to Sir Henry Bolte, the Premier of the day, about what she saw as the litter issues, and the outcome of that meeting was an anti-litter campaign, called Keep Victoria Beautiful. So that's literally how we started. Obviously, we've spread out our wings a bit more now. It's not only, we're still involved in litter, including now illegal dumping as well. We're also heavily involved in enabling communities and community groups and volunteers to do environmental work around their communities. And that's particularly with the 2 volunteer programs, Adopt a Roadside and Stationeers. And we run these 2 awards programs, which are all about the community volunteers acknowledging and recognising the work they do around their towns. And as we would all know, if communities and volunteers didn't do what they do around their towns, the place would be a lot worse than what it currently is. So very important. And as I said, the awards are a way of recognising and acknowledging that work. So that's how we started. So we'll start getting groups to come and talk about their projects. If I call a project and someone's not here, we'll just wander on to the next one. Now, I'm too afraid not to do what Michelle's asked me to do. So the first project I'll call is Crib Point RSL COVID Relief, and it's in the category of social wellbeing. Neat. Yep.
Hi, I'm Julie Saunders and I represent Crib Point Community Support Group. Our group was formed in March in 2020 at the beginning of last year's COVID lockdown. After a discussion in a chance meeting with the RSL president of Crib Point, Geordie Ord. As a group, we formed care bags, which we had around 70 people receiving a 3-course meal every Wednesday. These people included RSL veterans, RSL sick list, the elderly, the isolated, and very unwell people in our small community. We had no boundaries or judgment of who received our meals. We formed to give support in our community. We gained volunteers from our community. These volunteers were the backbone of our small operation. I'm sure if you could speak to some of our volunteers, you would find that most of them gained a lot from what they have done. Donations, we have survived up to now until September 2021 on the generous donations of cash and goods from our locals. BHP and Bendigo Bank Balnarring, along with the Crib Point RSL and Crib Point Community House, have backed our group all the way. I cannot say enough about our generous locals and volunteers. We have had the use of 2 kitchens over our time, the Crib Point RSL, and at present we work out of the Crib Point Football Netball Club. To the present day, we're doing 50 meals now in our care bags every Wednesday. What have we learnt from this? A sense of community giving. We have all made new friendships. We have seen loneliness and frustration. We have seen sadness of some of our recipients losing family members during the lockdown. None of this was due to COVID, it was just family. We have learned how to keep an eye out for anyone suffering. We have learned what wonderful people are in our community. We have only to ask and someone puts their hand up to help in these turbulent times. These are all positives and a humbling experience for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Well done. Well done. Good to hear about the project, and it's amazing how difficult times brings out the best in a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Another example of that. Well done. So the next one is Seniors High Tea Goodies Bag. It's under social wellbeing.
Hi everyone, hope you're all well. The high tea goodie bags, we have a seniors high tea every year, which is sponsored by the Hastings and District Bendigo Bank. We have people come from all over the place, far as away as Doncaster and Fairfield. Of course, last year we couldn't have it, so the money was there, so we figured let's do up some goodie bags, and we put cake and biscuits and tea and coffee and chocolates as well as information about local groups, local businesses. Some of the businesses even put in vouchers, and we started a list, and we ended up with, I think it was about 175 bags we did up, and our volunteers came in and helped us pack the bags. They delivered them for us. Some people were able to come and pick them up, so we just handed them out the window to them. But we also gave some of the bags to Oh, has to do that, doesn't it?
Still on mute, Mary.
Oh, sorry, don't know how that happened, but anyway, that's technology for you, isn't it? Yeah, we gave some of the bags to Julie with the community support group. They went out through them, and it was really overwhelming, the amount of people that rang us and emailed us and thanked us, and even stopping and talking to people when we delivered them. They were just absolutely amazed that, you know, we were thinking of them and all of that. And we ended up, it was so successful, we gave out goodie bags for Christmas. And then this year for Neighbourhood House Week, which we were lucky enough to have our market during that, we actually gave out goodie bags then with information about neighbourhood houses, community groups, all of that kind of stuff in it. So, yeah, it continues, and it looks like we might be doing the same thing again this year, unfortunately.
Okay, thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Next one, we'll jump about. These are coming out in no particular order. So the Mornington Peninsula Outdoor Dining Project to support local hospitality traders, which is in the community category.
Are you there, Grace? I think Grace McGuinness, who's an officer, might be in a meeting, Gary.
Okay. All right. So we'll go to Balnarring Pop-In Hub, which is in the social wellbeing category.
Marty? Are you muted, Marty?
Yeah. Doesn't look like you are muted, but we can't hear you. That was a bit more promising for a second there.
Is that working?
That is now, yes.
Oh, good. Hi, guys. A little shift around in my circumstances, but really great to be with you. I've been involved in community activities on the peninsula for nearly 20 years, and most of it through what's arisen out of a musical network and passion in our particular area, which led to some saving of council land from rezoning to become a community space for outdoor activities for all people of all ages, etc. We set up the Balnarring Village Common, and in the last couple of years have been looking at using an all-weather option, some spaces that can be used for young people, old people, all sorts of activities, not just musical activities, in our town and for the immediate environment around us. And it was wonderful to have the opportunity to use a space that was not being rented in the Balnarring shopping area, kindly supported by the Shire and their community action team to get behind all the activities that people in our town are really passionate about and wanting to do and connect with, especially in this really tough time. So it was an opportunity that was going to be about 18 months of a drop-in network that was a weekly network to yoga classes and music nights, live music nights, vinyl nights, Mother's Day markets, drumming, African drumming sessions, community mental health workshops, all sorts of amazing things some have happened, and obviously not being able to be there in person, we were limited in what we could do in the last sort of 6 to 8 months. But Ali Holzer is heading up a group that is looking to get the voices of our town together to build a case for the building of a permanent hub of community activity in this area that will take in everywhere from Bitton, Crib Point, well, not quite that far as Hastings, but through Summers and Shoreham and in the surrounding Red Hill areas, just to get a really great permanent community building that's carried by all the people of all the ages of our town in this area. So I'm really grateful to be in this category, supporting community and really healthy mental health, physical health, spiritual health activities for all people, and congratulate everyone that's doing good work in community, because I think it is the key to building a healthy future for all of us on this planet, working with Mother Nature. So gratitude to be here with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Marty. Well done.
You're welcome.
Next, we'll jump around. Community Bin Arts Project, which is in the community category.
Hi Gary, hi everybody. Thank you for, I think, Michelle McCready, who nominated the bin painting competition. And the project was for the community to do something during COVID, and that was to paint their bin. The subject was to paint something around the Mornington Peninsula, whether it was from the marine environment or from the natural environment. And it was amazing to see the community come together on it. I'd like to actually acknowledge Councillor David Gill and John Baker in this instance, because they were the driving force to see this come to fruition. It was born out of an idea of being in lockdown last May, and there was a book produced called All Dressed Up and Nowhere to Go. So I decided to dress up as a mermaid and asked my friend to paint my bin, and then there was a really positive response from that. And then I said to David, it would be great to see the community do something like this. And David agreed, and he went to John, and then it came about. So it went through arts and culture. The contributors, we had close to 100 people paint their bins. Sorry, I'm just wondering if I've lost you.
We can hear you.
Oh yeah, good. Sorry, the phone's ringing, everything's going. I'm like, yeah. So basically, people painted their bins, and it was a big learning curve. It was great on social media, great to see the response, and great to have the feedback from John Baker saying that, you know, that there was resistance in the initial on-take of the concept. But the response was so great, and now the Mornington Peninsula is kind of known for the bins, so it's great driving around and seeing people's painted bins. And still to this time, I've still got people asking me, are we going to do it again? Are we going to do it again? So I actually got someone painting my bin at the moment, so that's very exciting, and just really loving and appreciating the nature at the moment in the lockdown. Seeing so many creatures come to the shore, it's just so inspiring, and I hope that everyone's feeling inspired at this time.
Thank you, Josie. Thank you. I didn't even have to stop you.
Yeah. Gary, sorry,
Yep.
Could I ask if the staff from Crib Point, St Joseph's at Crib Point could speak next, because they will have students waiting for them to attend to, please. Gab Espenscheid, Lucy, and is Jess there? And Kate?
Okay, so which project's that one? What's it called?
Okay, girls, speak up. Gab, you want to go first?
Thanks, Michelle. And firstly, would like to say a huge congratulations to the Hastings for getting being winners of the national town. It's so inspirational to hear all of the different stories. So we've got 3 presentations that we would like to give. I think we'll hand over to Kate Gorringe-Smith first, if that's all right, Kate. Kate has worked with our wonderful children and Jess Brady, who is an apology today, on a wonderful project including birds and art life, and we've done a lot of work at St Joseph's down at Woolies Beach looking at all the migratory birds, and it has been a really inspirational project for all of our children. We get regular updates from I think Stephen from, oh, Lucy, you might have to help me here, from
the Western Port Biosphere Foundation.
Western Port Biosphere, and he updates us regularly on Red, a bird that's flying, and a story. So we're very, very involved in it at St Joe's, and we're just about to put in a beautiful wetlands now where we'd like to put some artwork as well. So I'm going to hand over to Kate, who was involved with the project with Jess.
Thanks so much, Gab, and it's a real honour to be speaking with you today, especially as I didn't get to work directly in the school with the children because of COVID. So, of course, Lucy and Jess and the Mangrove Warriors did all the work. But what we were doing was I run a project called the Overwintering Project, which is an Australia-wide art project trying to raise awareness for migratory shorebirds. And of course, I'm sure that all of you know that Western Port is a very, very important habitat site, especially during the summer, for these 36 species of birds that spend the summer on our beaches, but then every year do the epic migration to breed in Siberia and Alaska and northern China and Japan, and then come all the way back. So that's a 25,000 kilometre circuit that these birds do every year. And in March, we had a beautiful exhibition at the Mornington Peninsula Regional Gallery of prints made by artists from all over Australia. But we also had an exhibition called The Wall of Wings concurrently at Oak Hill Gallery, which is a community gallery in Mornington right next to the MPRG. And that's the project that St Joseph's were a wonderful part of. So the Wall of Wings project is international. We had birds flying to us from all over the world and all over Australia. And the idea is that you make a print of a migratory shorebird that's roughly life-size, but then you cut it out and then it's just blue tack to the walls. So when you're walking through the gallery, it's like walking through a flock of the birds. And it's just beautiful. And the children, the Mangrove Warriors, who were involved in this project this year because they couldn't get out to plant mangroves. That's what they usually do. They're usually busy out there restoring habitat, I believe. But because of COVID and other things, they were prevented from doing that this year. So they made prints of green shanks, ruddy turnstones, redneck stints and bar-tailed godwits, which then were part of this exhibition. And then I think the birds flew back to the school to be an exhibition at the school as well. So it's been a wonderful contribution to environmental advocacy because it talks about how important Western Port is to these birds, but it also talks about how Western Port is part of a very important chain of habitat that links us globally, really. So anyway, it was really lovely to be involved with the children, and the school did really well. And it was part of the Western Port Biosphere Foundation's Biodiversity in Schools initiative as well. So the Biosphere were very much on board and supporting the school also. So Lucy, I don't know if you want to add some on-the-ground information to that.
I'm conscious that we're probably almost at our 2 minutes now. So I was going to show you a little video that Jess just sent me, which was really lovely, just with the kids, and it's about a minute long. Have we got time, Gary, to share that?
Yep, we can do that.
Okay. All right. I'll see if I can share my screen. If not, I can just show you some of their beautiful prints that they did.
They did really well.
They did.
While Lucy's doing that, I'd just like to say a huge congratulations and thank you, Kate, for all of the work that you did with our children. It's fantastic to step outside of school and partner with experts and people that can really deepen our children's understanding of Western Port Bay and the wonderful place we live in. So I'd like to say a big thank you to Kate and, of course, to Lucy and Jess.
Yeah. Oh, look.
Well, I can't claim any of this project. Anyway, I'm really sorry, but I don't have the technological ability to share my screen. I've got a new computer and I don't quite understand it. So I won't share the video, but I can always send it if anybody would like it because it is really gorgeous.
Lucy,
but I'll
just share it with me. Lucy, share it with me and I can do that.
Sure.
As long as I've got rights to share the screen. So what about if we move on to our next project and if Lucy shares that video with me, then I can do that.
I think I can. I mean, I have got here, because I just dug them out of Jess's room, all the beautiful birds. So I can just give you a sense of the birds that the kids all designed, which were just gorgeous. So Kate provided the stencils for them, and then they all used these, with Jess's help, they all decorated these gorgeous birds, and we had an assembly to show all of the school all of their gorgeous designs. Anyway, so you get a sense of how lovely they were, and they were all over the Wall of Wings display at the
Oak Hill.
At Oak Hill, yes, that's right. So thanks, Kate. All right, what I'll do, Gab, is I'll just talk quickly about the Indigenous Culture and Perspectives project, because Julie isn't here, who heads up that, but I'm going to do a bit of a chat about that. And whilst I'm doing that, where maybe Kate's talking, I'll try and send you that link that Jess sent me, if that's okay. Okay, so another project that we've been doing at the school this year is part of an ongoing program that we have on Indigenous culture and perspectives, and our teacher who heads that up is Julie Morgan, and she does a fantastic job through the school, particularly with the preps and 1-2s delivering this program. Our goals and outcomes for this year have been to connect with the Bunurong and First Nations communities around us, and we've been doing that. Myself, Jess and Julie have all been taking part in Karen Anderson's 18-month-long Global Leadership Project. She sits on the United Nations Global Leadership Project and is helping educators in the community learn all about Indigenous culture and perspectives. And we meet some of the elders and people in the Bunurong community and other Indigenous communities around. So that's been amazing. We've also been had a big part in the Womenjeka Festival. Julie's always really proactive in that, and she had a beautiful stall there for the day, and lots of our kids took part, and lots of kids from all around took part in that. So that was great. We've been using the opportunity whenever we're out at school, which has been obviously a bit limited, especially this term, to be outdoors and using our outdoor space for learning and connecting our children to country through the outdoor learning with Julie, which is really wonderful. And that involves a lot of, she uses dance and music and artwork and natural play to kind of teach kids about Indigenous culture and perspectives. The kids have been immersed whenever they're here in Bunurong language when they're on our program all day on a Thursday. So we use we've got some beautiful books written by Dr. Carolyn Briggs that we use the language in there. And the kids now throughout the school, you'll hear them referring to wa, and they'll use they're known as bubups, so they'll call themselves bubups, and they say they sit down on their womb, which is sitting on their bottom, and they refer to Bunjil, who's the spirit creator. So that sort of language is just beginning to be used in their everyday life. So that's great. We haven't been able to do this term, but we plan to start taking the kids on some beautiful bushwalks. We've got some remnant Indigenous bushland just behind Crib Point School. So the kids hopefully next term will start to do some beautiful bushwalks, which would be wonderful. And we have just started our reconciliation action plan here this year. So that's been, we just started doing that and looking at how we can kind of just raise awareness of all that Julie's doing and that program's doing in the school with some displays, and hopefully encouraging other teachers to do some stuff in their own inquiry sessions and things, which I know the 1-2s have been doing around First Peoples. So that's been our Indigenous culture and perspectives this year.
Okay. Thank you, Lucy.
Thanks. I've actually found that video that Jess had sent me. Would you like me to play that now?
Yes.
Yep.
I'll just share my screen. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yes.
No worries.
We are the Mangrove Warriors of St Joseph's here in Crib Point. We grow mangroves and love everything about Western Port Bay. This year, the Western Port Biosphere introduced us to an amazing printmaker called Kate Gorringe-Smith. Kate helped us to create some prints of different migratory birds for an exhibition called The Wall of Wings, which was held over at Oak Hill Gallery in Mornington. The exhibition was held in conjunction with the Overwintering Project at the Mornington Peninsula Regional Gallery. We joined international artists to create awareness of some of our most endangered and possibly least known group of birds, migratory shorebirds. We acknowledge the place and the land that inspired this environmental art project We express our respect for the traditional owners of the country, the Bunurong people. We acknowledge elders past, present and emerging.
Okay, thank you for that. Now, is there another one following on here, Gabby, or?
Yes, we've got Kate Hewen, our wellbeing leader, that's going to talk about our wellbeing hub. And then following on from that, I can speak about the wellbeing project at St Mary's in Hastings as well.
Thanks,
Okay.
Gab. Hi, everybody. Nice to meet you all. Gab, I also had a video that we made, so I've just shared that with you if we want to share it. But St Joseph's, we've got lots of things happening at St Joseph's, and over the last 12 months, we've designed with our students and implemented a wellbeing hub. So our school wellbeing hub was designed to empower our students in the area of their social and emotional capabilities. And there's a little video. Gab, did you want to maybe share that? And
just getting it up there.
Yeah, sure. So it's basically our wellbeing hub is available to all our students for short breaks from the classroom, and its aim is to focus on positive wellbeing, and it's a space for our students to spend time learning about things like growth mindset, learning how to reset, regulate if their emotions are heightened, It's a space where teachers and students use to take mindful moments, to share and to learn their emotions, for students to maintain a healthy mental health and wellbeing. So yeah, I'm basically saying everything that would be in the video anyway. But yeah, it's a really positive and fun space that the students enjoy using. We run explicit cell lessons in there as well. So
at St Joseph's, we have created a wellbeing hub. So the school wellbeing hub is designed to empower our students in the area of social and emotional capabilities. The hub is available to all our students throughout the day at any time, and it has several aims. One of the aims is for students to learn to self-regulate or to reset when they're feeling heightened so they can return to the classroom and be ready to learn. Another aim is for students to take mindful moments, and teachers. It's a beautiful space for people just to take a moment to focus on their mental health and well-being. So we have our own mental health, social and emotional capability school toolkit that focuses on things like growth mindset strategies, which we call the Mind Master, or keeping our self-talk positive. Teachers also run explicit lessons in here. We have respectful relationship lessons in here. We use it for canine comprehension in our therapy dogs, and doing explicit lessons around healthy body and healthy mind. It's a wonderful space that we all benefit from. So that's our St Joseph's Wellbeing Hub.
So yeah, as the video said, it's basically, it's a wonderful space for our students to enjoy mindful moments and focus on positive wellbeing and mental health. The students, what they do is they sign themselves in, and they focus on a specific strategy. So they might go into the hub and use a fidget tool or a breathing technique while using some positive self-talk, or while resetting their thinking and using growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset. And then they take an exit ticket, and they take that exit ticket to their teacher, and the teacher at some point touches base with them and talks to them about what strategy they've been working on. So yeah, that's our St Joseph's Wellbeing Hub.
Thank you, Kate. Well done. So Gabby, the last one you were going to talk to was which project's that one?
Yeah, so I'm just getting it up now. So I'm probably the luckiest principal in the world, because I'm across two schools. So St Joe's in Crib Point, and last year came across to St Mary's in Hastings. So Hastings has so many wonderful assets that we were not utilising at the school. So we also have started utilising, working with Dolphin Research and we have introduced a project for with the Seas Our Best Friend, the same as what the kids do down at St Joe's, and we'll be doing lots of liaising, but obviously COVID has stopped us. So in the meantime, at St Mary's, we have, I'm just going to share my screen. It's just, I think it's easier if you see pictures. So I'll just share, it's not a movie, but I'll just talk to a slideshow. So we very much talk about wellbeing in our schools. We have made a beautiful wellbeing space at St Mary's where children can learn and be in. It's a place for them to take a break, but it's also a place where we're building positive relationships with our families. And we have a saying, the home is the first school and the school is the second home. And how more pertinent to this year in COVID when our beautiful parents are having to educate children at home. And we talk about the environment being like a third teacher. So the culture and the environment that we create in our school very much teaches our children so much about their identity, about who they are, and about their mental health and wellbeing. So we created a courtyard that provides water collection, ensuring sustainable practices. It's just outside the classrooms, which eventually we will open up with bifold doors, so it has that inside-outside learning for our children. But it's a calming place for students to sit and reset. We've got lots of children who are struggling from mental health and wellbeing vulnerabilities at the moment. So we're very much putting these children in the driving seat of saying when you need to, you can go and take a break, but also providing natural environments for them to learn in. So the students worked with the landscape experts and they planted out the wellbeing garden. It has a pond, as you can see down in one photo. There's a water pump so children can physically feel like they're watering the garden. We use it for take a break zones, but also for family fun Fridays. And you'll see in these pictures, what a dream that we could be back at school with all our parents and our kids in the one area, because at the moment that's not possible. So these were taken earlier in the year, and all families come in on a Friday and the children teach their parents about what they're doing in their classroom. We also have community nights. We had a magician earlier on in the year, and we really utilise this wellbeing space for children's mental health, for them to take a break, but also for to build positive relationships in the school.
Excellent. Thank you, Gabby. Obviously, lots of activity happening down that way. So next, we'll just jump around. Aboriginal art nodes, which is in the Indigenous culture category. No one putting the hand up for that one.
Peter on? No.
No.
Sorry,
That's
Gary.
okay. That's all right. We'll keep moving on. Emerging and conserving our club's future, which is in the heritage and culture category.
Andrea was on before. Are you there, Andrea? Andrea Bowles?
Yep, I can see Andrea.
Okay.
To unmute. Can you all hear me now?
Yes.
Yep, great. Thank you. Well, I'm secretary of the Mount Martha Petanque Club, and in March 2019, a small group of us, 8 people, decided to form a new petanque club and offer an opportunity to play a game in the Mount Martha Mornington area, which is an alternative to traditional sports, and it's suitable for all ages and all abilities. The big thing was that we actually needed a home. We started playing on the gravel pathways at the Rose Garden, but we had aspirations to have a proper home. Coincidentally, Mount Martha Bowls Club, by the end of 2018, no longer had the need for their 3 grass greens, having replaced 2 of them with virtually maintenance-free and environmentally friendly synthetic playing surfaces. So they had a green that was superfluous to their requirements and it was rapidly deteriorating. The Bowls Club learnt that there was a newly formed Betonk Club that was looking for a permanent home. I had actually had an article in the local paper and mentioned that we were looking for a home. So we entered into negotiations with the Bowls Club as their unused deteriorating green was the perfect size to develop an international standard Betonk terrain. We raised $60,000 and completed the project in March this year with an official opening attended by Councillor Despy O'Connor. Hi, Despy. She threw the first bulls along with some of us, and it was a great day. With excellent support from the Bowls Club, we are now the Mount Martha Bowls and Betonk Club. The merging of the two clubs has strengthened the club and the membership at every level. We have Betonk members on the board of directors right down to the games that we play. Providing a choice for two sports, and it's enhanced the many social experiences for members. The project required partnerships and cooperation with Mornington Peninsula Shire and the Bowls Club, and they all greatly assisted us and welcomed us into a combined club, thus maximising the use of an existing facility and providing greater benefits for our community. It's better for the community to have a vibrant club using its Shire-provided facilities. In the future, with the addition of floodlights over what is now called the Booladrome, it's quite impressive, I can assure you. We plan to develop additional picnic and barbecue facilities around the terrain, and the community will be able to enjoy lawn bowls and Betonk during the day and evenings also after work in a family-friendly environment. We'd like to thank Keep Victoria Beautiful for listing us, Mount Martha Bowls and Betonk Club, as finalists in the Tidy Town Awards, Heritage and Culture.
Thank you, Andrea. Well done. Where shall we jump to? We shall jump to
Gary.
Yes.
Sorry, Gary. I was just going to say, I can see the school's environmental education program. Ladies are there if you want that one. I'm just trying to check who's online so that you can go to them. So that's Jackie Salter and Tiffany, if you're there, girls.
Yep, I can jump in if you like.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yes, so congratulations to all the finalists. It's I'm really enjoying this morning hearing about all the amazing projects that are happening on the Mornington Peninsula, and it has been a really difficult 18 months, so it's great to see such fantastic projects bringing people together and, you know, keeping that sense of community alive. So well done, everybody. I just wanted to talk briefly about the Mornington Peninsula Shire's School Environmental Education Program. So this program offers fantastic hands-on learning designed to engage students to learn more about the environment, sustainability, and climate change. At the moment, we offer 6 different lessons: biodiversity, waste, water, energy, climate change, and environmentally sustainable design. And the program inspires sustainable behaviour change at an individual and school level. So we really try and empower the students to think creatively about what they can do to help solve some of the tricky problems that we are facing, you know, the Earth is facing at the moment. And as much as we can, get them out there and connected to their natural environment and encourage a sense of stewardship so they can go on to be great citizens for the Earth in the future. So we offer lessons from kinder all the way up to BCE and VCAL, and the lessons are delivered as excursions to the Eco Living Display Centre at the Bryce in Mount Martha. We also offer incursions to schools And recently, online interactive workshops have been gaining a lot in popularity. I think teachers have been really finding it useful to have a different voice speaking to the children, to break up the school day. So that's a great service that we've been able to offer the community. So the program's been running for 10 years, and we keep the costs really low to ensure that the program is accessible to all. And we found that it's been, when we weren't in lockdown, it's been incredibly popular with the face-to-face lessons. We've managed to educate more than 750 students this year, despite all the lockdowns, and 100% of the teachers that we surveyed said that they would they'd book again. And we've received some really great feedback. For a couple of weeks ago, we ran an online session for a local primary school, and the teacher said, "We all learned so much and the students were engaged throughout, which is tricky during remote learning. We're also happy with what you provided during this difficult time." So I'd like to finish by thanking the judges and the organisers of Keep Victoria Beautiful Awards. I think it's a fantastic initiative, and I'm really glad to see it going from strength to strength. Congratulations to Emma. I imagine she might be listening in one time, maybe to the recording, and congratulations to her family, and also welcome Sam. And I'd like to finish by thanking Michelle McCready for all the hard work that she puts in encouraging and coordinating all the nominations for the Peninsula. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Well done. So next we'll head off to COVID computer campaign, which is in the education category.
That's me, Colleen Mackay. Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, hi. We just lost you. Oh, there we go. Can you see us?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, a very big thank you to Keep Victoria Beautiful and the Tidy Towns Award, to all the nominees, because I think it's just amazing to see what phenomenal things are happening across the Mornington Peninsula, and you give us the chance to showcase that. But my project started because during lockdown number 1, I had a phone call from a number of parents who were in absolute distress because they were trying to homeschool their children using mum's mobile phone, because that's the only internet or electronic device that the family had. So I put the call out into the community, and of course the Peninsula stepped up, and we were given a whole lot of unwanted iPads, Chromebooks, laptops, which we cleaned off, reloaded, and we gave out free to the families that really needed some support. The job ultimately became quite big, and so I roped in the most amazing gentleman called Graham, who is a member of the Rosebud District Men's Shed through Seawinds Community Hub. And he and his team then took on the job of cleaning off the computers, reloading them with more up-to-date technology, finding cords and everything like that needed. And they spent hours doing what they did. And up to date, we've now just last week given out our 103rd recycled computer, which obviously not only supports the education of our local kids, but also saves an awful lot of e-waste that would have normally just gone and been tossed. So, yeah, that's our project. Very proud of it.
And so you should be. Thanks, Colleen. Well done.
And I'm here, just so that you know, I'm here with Judy Grant. We're sharing the screen, and she's from Nan's Bundles, one of the other nominations in the program.
Okay, thank you.
Gary, would you
Yes,
like her to speak now? Sorry to keep interrupting you.
It's what I expect. It's okay.
Yes,
That's
Nan
fine. Yeah.
Bundles. Could she speak now? Good,
Yeah,
thank you.
go for it.
Hi, everybody, and I'm very proud and honoured to be talking with you today. My thing is Nan's Baby Bundles. It started, I came down from the city and started my life on the Mornington Peninsula 15 years ago. Came down, had very few friends and so forth. By the time I painted the house and everything, I needed a project. So I started looking around for things that were not quite there for people in need. I started joining various groups of which I've belonged to for a long time. But Nan's Baby Bundles was born when my daughter had her baby and made friends with people, and there was just no support for them. Their families were broken, all the types of things, and they looked to me for support. So that's when I decided that I'd gather and go to op shops and all these sorts of places. I'd knit, I'd gather friends around, get them to knit, sew, all sorts of things, save their bottom drawers where the unwanted, unneeded Christmas presents and so forth have arrived. And that's how it all began. The bundles, I pack myself. I have help with storage from Alison Erskine, who's been terrific in that regard, and with manhandling and so forth with baby bundles. But the way that I see it is that our bundles are packed to help ease some of the stress of preparing for a new baby. Many mums these days do not have the backing of partners, family, and even sometimes friends. Funds are low and they feel quite alone and desperate. I care about them and their babies, and we hope that the bundles get to them and give them a bit of pleasure and even a smile on their faces. It's very gratifying when I hear of them. I don't meet them. They're all handed out by care providers, and because I want them to go to places where they can get help. Might be they are behind on their rent, or they might be having problems with marital problems and everything. Handing them out that way, I can make sure that they're headed in the right direction for finding perhaps an answer to their problem.
Excellent. Well done. What a great idea. Sorry, had you finished there or not?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, okay.
And I thank everybody that helps me. One thing I want to say is clubs and things like the Village Glen have a knitting club, and they have been absolutely fantastic. They make dolls for me to put in the parcels. They make jackets. They do all sorts of things. And I appreciate everybody that has helped. I could name them all, but I take up too much time. I'd just say it's an absolute joy what I do, and it's given me a real buzz at 75. So, and also an honour as to being in Hastings is just a trivial point, but my husband's family settled Somerville and Hastings in the early days, the Grants and also the Thornells. And just a really wacky comment is my husband was born 80 years ago in the Hastings Hospital. So that's our claim to fame. Thank you.
Excellent. Well done. Well done. And that's just one thing I did. Well, I picked up lots of things, but one thing I did that jumped out at me, that it's not only helping a lot of other people, but it's also obviously helping you and doing good things for you as well. So that's great to see.
Fantastic.
Okay, so next one we'll head on to, what do we go? No Limits program, which is in the education category.
Gary, Stephen's not there, but Jeremy Maxwell's there if you'd like him to speak. Jeremy, would you like to speak to your project now, which is...
Happy to, Michelle.
The vulnerable food under the community project, Gary.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Gary. And thanks again to Tidy Towns and Keep Victoria Beautiful. Just fantastic program, and great to see that we're all being recognised. I'm the CEO of Southern Peninsula Community Support. Judy, who you just heard, is one of our really important volunteers, but we've got a range of them, and we normally provide emergency relief right down the southern part of the peninsula. We've done that for over 40 years, but we're part of a Victorian network that does that right across the state. And there are two other agencies in the Shire. One is Mornington Community Information and Support, and the other one is Western Port Support, which is over in Hastings. When COVID started, it just created a completely new dynamic for vulnerable people. We normally look after a couple of thousand people a year, and they come to us for help, everything from food to material aid. But when COVID started, everything just stopped in its tracks. So the Shire, who support all of us, put the hand up and just said, what do you need? What can we do? And so we ended up in taking over different Shire facilities. In our case, we were operating out of Memorial Hall, got a whole range of different community organisations who gave food and material aid. And we went from an agency where people come to us to a home delivery agency. And so over those first few months working as a partnership between the three organisations in the Shire, we delivered over 10,000 food packages to people all around the Shire. We've continued to do that since then, but that was a particularly strong coordinated effort, which if any one of us hadn't done our part, we wouldn't have never been able to do it. So we're often, and all of you will know this, that we're included in the Greater Melbourne, but it's only Greater Melbourne, it seems, for the not so great things. And when it comes to funding and support, it requires really locals to do all the heavy lifting. And I come from out of area, but I never cease to be impressed by just how much this community works together. And because of that, we get some really amazing things done. So thanks for recognising that, and thanks for everybody else for doing what you're doing.
Well done, Jeremy. Thank you for that. But yes, it's what everyone else does is that makes things happen, and that's what we're happy to display. Okay, Napier Street Plaza, which is in social wellbeing.
Hi everyone, my name's James. Thanks for giving us the opportunity and for recognising the projects. Some really great projects out there. It's been awesome to hear them. So my one's a bit different. It's the Napier Street Plaza in Rye is it's a public realm upgrade project that we did. So I'm from the Mornington Shire Council, and we worked with the local community over a number of years through a series of strategies and plans to kind of find out what was missing in the town, what kind of needed to be upgraded, and try and sort of inject some new life into the town. And one of the things we heard was that there wasn't really a central heart of the town. There wasn't like a public square that could be the focus of community life. So this project set about creating that. We converted an old car park, an unused sort of section of road, and expanded out an existing public space to make it a really large plaza that sort of allows businesses to expand out into it, and more importantly, I suppose it's a gathering place for people. So we've put in shade trees and landscaping. We put seating and public art and a whole heap of facilities to try and encourage people to spend time in this place. It's right opposite the beach, so it's a really good. The views are obviously really good, and it's become the heart of the town. So it is kind of what we set out to achieve. It's obviously still establishing, but it was great to see before COVID really hit last year when we could there was people out using it. It was really really good to see it being used as what we intended it for. So yeah, it's been a long project, probably a number of years in the making, but yeah, we've sort of brought the community along on the way, and it's been a real success. So yeah, we're really proud to see it getting used and becoming a focus point of the town. Thank you.
Excellent. Well done. Well done. Where we head next? Crib Point new fire station, which is in the community category.
Are you there, Samantha? This is a blast from the past for you, Gary. Samantha Ackland. She's trying to connect to audio.
Yes, can see that. Staying inconspicuous. Okay. Presumably having some problems.
Do you want to try Mandy from DRI Dolphin Research?
Yep, we'll do that, and we can come back to Sam.
Yeah, maybe Sam, if you disconnect and maybe reconnect, maybe to try and get some audio.
Okay, so
Or Mount Martha House. Is Madison, are you from Mount Martha House there? She was.
Maybe we'll head in a different direction. Who's there that hasn't spoken yet that wants to?
Helen Smith. Is Helen Smith there from Western Port Secondary College? We've still got 22 participants, Gary, so some of them must be there. I'll ring Sam now.
Okay, so yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. So, given looks like we're having some issues, is there anyone online that hasn't spoken yet that wants to speak? Can you, if that's the case, either stick your hand up or open up your screen and start talking to us?
Gary?
Yes.
Oh, well, to you all. I probably, while everyone's sorting out, I didn't say that we started off with 8 people in our Petanque club. We've now got 60 Petanque people playing when we're not locked down. And the combined club now is well over 300 people. So it's just gone from strength to strength. So I'm dying to get back out of lockdown because it's been really difficult to manage.
I'm sure it has been.
Okay, yeah. I'll mute again. Thank you.
Sam, do you want to have a go at unmuting yourself again? No, Sam, do you want to try and activate your screen? Okay, so I can see that you've unmuted yourself. Hello, Sam. We can see you. Okay.
Good morning, all.
And we can hear you too.
It's your turn, Sam, to speak.
You have the floor.
Excellent, thank you. Well, I'm very excited to be here, and just on a side note, even more excited that Hastings, the township, won the Nationals not that long ago. Very, very great for Victoria and our tiny little town of Hastings. Very good. So I'm Samantha. I'm Second Lieutenant at Crib Point Fire Brigade, which is a beautiful little town between Hastings and Cerberus. So Crib Point Fire Brigade is almost 70 years old, which is pretty exciting. We're a little town that's supported by a number of brigades.
Someone's not on mute.
Oh, you still got me? Fantastic. Sorry, something's really going strange this morning. So Crib Point Fire Brigade, tiny little brigade. We do a lot with the community. We couldn't survive without them, and they couldn't survive without us. So the last almost 2 years has been quite difficult for us, but with community support, we're continuing to grow and develop. So the summer of 16-17, we had a massive fire rip through our town, which was quite unfortunate. So that was devastating for us as fireys, seeing our town in despair, but it was also a really good opportunity for us to come together as a community, particularly with our local businesses and sporting. So we're a small brigade. We've got 27 members, 12 juniors, which was a big effort for us to support the town over almost 10 days of the fire. So our local brigades came together and supported us. They covered our night shift, which was fantastic. And then the local sporting clubs got involved as well. So not only did they support us with meals and cleaning, but they also did a whole lot of fundraising, which was really, really important to us. CFA is a purely volunteer organisation, so any grants or donations or support we can get to provide equipment is really fantastic. So 2019, we opened our new station. So this is a fantastic thing for us. Our old station was an asbestos fibre sheet shed, which didn't exactly touch the ground or touch the roof. We had great insulation, great ventilation in summer, but it wasn't great for us, and we'd outgrown it. So we almost spent 5 years fundraising with the community and businesses of the area to get a new fire station. So this fire station is not only for us as firefighters, but it's there as a community asset as well. So we were entitled to a basic fire station, which was 2 engine bays, a small meeting room and 1 office. We fundraised to increase the engine bays to 3. So now we have 3 vehicles that we can easily get in and out. We also increased the size of the meeting rooms, so we can now hold community events. Prior to COVID, we ran a whole lot of first aid courses out of the station, which was great for us to upskill our members, but it also meant that the general community could come in and have access to that training. We've also got new offices. So now instead of doing admin in that meeting room, we can now do it in a safe space, which means we can lock up personal information or information about a fire. And we also have a really great outdoor space, which we've used quite a lot for community events prior to COVID. So each year we have a community open day where anyone can come in, play on the fire truck and participate in training activities. So we opened that in November 2019, which was great. Unfortunately, the last 2 annual year celebrations have been postponed because of COVID, but we're really looking forward to doing it next year. We've got a couple of members that have just reached 60 years of service within the one brigade. So that's pretty phenomenal that we had a member join up when they were 17, when they had no equipment at all, just jumped on the back of the fire truck, and they've been with us for 60 years. And another member who has just hit 55 years. So we're very much a community brigade. We're a family brigade. I've met people that I wouldn't have any other way that I now consider not only friends, but family. We're very lucky. I love our little group. Thank you.
Well done, Sam. And I always think places like that or groups like that are generally the heart of the community. So, yeah, great to hear.
No, we definitely are with our local football netball club and us. If you're not part of one, you're part of the other. So we're very, very, very lucky.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Now, Michelle, rather than taking potluck, can you see anyone there that hasn't spoken so far?
I've tried to get hold of the lasses from Mount Martha House, but are you still there, Maddie? No.
No. So we'll go back to what we tried earlier. Is there anyone still online that hasn't spoken yet that was expecting to speak?
Helen Smith from Western Port Secondary College. Are you there, Helen?
No.
Tracy Lee Smith, are you there about your art notes? Rebecca Popperwell, are you there?
I can see the Dolphin Research Institute.
Yep.
I don't think, have we heard from them? Oh.
You know what? That's the day.
We don't have a project. I'm just listening in, supporting, because
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Alison Manning, are you there at all? From Mornington Botanical Rose Garden at all?
No. Okay.
Sorry,
That's all right. It's not compulsory. even though if they're not doing what you've told them to do, they may be getting some information later. But anyhow, okay. All right. So I think we've given everyone the opportunity to speak that wanted to speak. A few things from us. I mentioned the survey earlier. Just remind you again, if you go to the chat, you'll find an address to go and complete a short, simple survey. We'd very much appreciate if you could do that. Just help us do things better in the future. Our award ceremony, you'll need to keep your eyes open for information from us as to when that is going to happen. Unfortunately, we've been stuck in the situation again where we're not going to be able to do an in-person award ceremony down at Hastings. So we'll now go back to an online version of that. And given the current lockdown we're in at the moment, we're still talking with potential producers as to how that may happen, because there's difficulties even getting presenters and someone with a camera together, given our current lockdown. So as soon as we work out when that can be done, we shall let you know. So please keep your eye open for that. So Michelle McCready, thank you for what you do. Things like this don't happen in communities without people like you who's prepared to put in the time and the effort doing it. So.
Gary, can you mention that their certificates their finalist certificates will come out later?
Yeah, they'll be sent out after the actual awards event.
Because you normally would be presented with them, but you'll...
Correct, yes. Mm-hmm. And so we'll basically finish this up now. And one of our directors, Kirsty Richards, is going to say a few words to close it all up.
Can Councillor Dixon or Despy say something? Because they didn't get a chance to speak the other day, and they are the mayor and ward councillor for all these wonderful groups. So would you mind, Gary, if you're still there, if you would mind speaking just to their groups? Is that okay, Gary?
Yeah, that's fine.
Are you there, Despy?
I am just finding my right buttons. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, Gary. How inspiring. I mean, how much work our community volunteers and all of you put into the projects that you're doing. It's just incredible. And to see the depth of what you all have to offer is really admirable. And I really congratulate you all on putting your projects up and getting involved in this way and bringing everybody on the journey, because that's a big part of it too. if we can bring people with us, we create bigger movements. And I'm saddened that we can't all be together and talk about the projects and you know, have that kind of celebration together. And even celebrating the win for Hastings last Friday or Friday week ago, like just yesterday, which is nice though, isn't it? That it's still going on. You know, having Hastings pull through as the national winner just shows how connected our community is, because we can get together and pull these projects together as groups and celebrate together. So I'm really proud of you all, and thank you for going the next step and continuing on. And Councillor Dixon, I'd love you to say a few words as well, because you've been so connected with the community in this way.
Thanks, Despi, and thank you everyone, and KVB, Gary, Sabina, everybody that's here. It's been absolutely awesome event again today, even though it's online. The feeling and the warmth, and it's just been fantastic, and the clapping in between. I know it's not quite the same, but you know, we're all here to support you, and you're all doing such a fabulous job. And I think Despi summed it up. You know, the array and vastness of the projects were just awesome, you know, from our babies to our adults to our seniors and everything in between, in our community services, I think is just wonderful. And Sabina, hang on to that trophy and come down in person, because we sure as heck want to see you as well. So it would be so lovely for you in your big box.
I've loved watching you hold the box up, Sabina, I have to say.
It's been lovely. So we would really love to shout you a lunch or afternoon tea or something, and just celebrate in a small way. But you know, we do thank you all, and Hastings is so proud, and it's just been wonderful. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Despi and Lisa. So Kirsty, over to you.
Oh, look, I am always in awe of what you achieve. I mean, we talked earlier about pressing the right buttons. You guys are pressing all the right buttons. You're pressing buttons I didn't even know existed. I'm just astonished and in awe of what you do. And I'm delighted that we can give you recognition and reward, inspire and motivate, hear more, spread the stories to other people so they can hear about it. I'm amazed. I love the resilience, the passion, the commitment, the work, the people you bring in. It's just glorious. It's beyond. If we could bottle this, we could do anything. I'd go out and do more. I love it. Thank you so much for today and every day. Bye.
Thank you, Kirsty. So I think
Thanks,
that's all done. So again, thank you all for coming along today, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, Gary.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Sabina.
Pleasure.
Thank you, everyone.
See ya.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Gary, Sabina. Thanks, Michelle. Keep organising us.
Good work, Michelle.
Yeah, great job.
See you all soon.
See you.
Bye, Sabina. Thank you.